Welcome to another session where we are going to learn about management information system. My name is Mushiri Nyaga, so we go straight away to the definitions. Management, as defined by Mary, is the art of getting things done through people. A manager is defined as a person who achieves the organization goals by motivating others to perform, not by performing himself. Whether management is an art or a science is a very subjective question, but it can be said without doubt that modern management in the environment of technology is becoming more of a science than an art. We define management for the purposes of management information system as the process of planning, organizing, staffing, coordinating, and controlling of the efforts of the members of the organization to achieve common stated goals of an organization. In the process of management, a manager uses the skills, materials, and scientific method to perform all the activity leading to the achievement of the goals. The management process involves continuous resolution of conflicts of one kind or the other, which affects the achievement of the goals. In the management of an activity, a manager comes across human conflict of the goals between alternative resources, conflict of time, conflict of approach, or the method, and the conflict of the choice. The manager uses a variety of tools, techniques, and skills while executing the management process of planning, organizing, staffing, coordinating, and controlling. An effective way of handling this process is to treat the organization as the system. And the concept of the system theory used in management is as follows. A system is a comprehensive assembly of parts becoming an organization to achieve the stated goal. Secondly, a system can be either open or can be a closed system. When you say it's an open system, if it interacts with the environment, it's an open system. If it's a closed system, it doesn't interact with the environment. A system can be described and understood by boundaries within which it performs, or generally as the scope where it performs. The systems are subject to the basic environment because it cannot operate within a vacuum, and systems try to remain in an equilibrium or a steady state by taking a recourse to every collective action. By stating that, remember, there is no single system that is ideal or that doesn't have faults. The advantage of viewing the management as a system is that it enables us to see the critical variables, constraints, and the interaction with one another. It forces a manager to look at the situation in such a way that due regard is given to the consequences arising of the interaction with the related element or subject. The process of management explained as we move on with this video will make you understand more about management and how different systems work or interact with one another within the system. We don't want to exhaust everything about the management, but as we move on, we will expand further about management. So, in terms of the framework of MIS organization and the management, the framework for the MIS system consists of the three major components, and for you to understand, we have the first one, which is the strategic planning, which is a method of focusing on improvements in the goals of the organization, the methods that are to be used to achieve this objective. These include the policies that are part of the frame by the management expert to control, organize, and use the organizational resources to reduce the cost and maximize the profit. Take note, most of the organization, I'm saying most of them, focus on maximizing the profits. Strategic planning helps in designing the strategies of the company and is used in formulating policies to control the acquisition, handling of the business activities, and it is involved to reframe the strategy whenever required. From a philosophical perspective, strategic planning must be designed in such a way so that an organization may achieve its aim and objective, as well as it can keep itself up to date on the new development through changes to the objective, the financial aspect of the needed, and the guiding principles and the policies followed in obtaining, using the organizational resources. So in a nutshell, to explain in a nutshell about the strategic planning, this is mostly done by the owners of the company or the shareholders of the company, and they determine the policies of the company. The next component is the management control, which is a process of assuring that resources are collected and effectively used effectively and efficiently, resulting in the accomplishment of the organizational key objective. In this process, an executive or supervisors or managers will use to assess the productivity of each department or each area of specialization to identify issues, formulate some new innovative strategies, and make some rules of control, set protocols, and evaluate the risk of the allocation of resources. Basically, these management are the enforcers of the policies, and they have different strategies to achieve specific policies set by the strategic team. The next one is the operational control. The operational control is the process of managing operational activities of an organization that are carried out to achieve optimal utilization of the resources and successful implementation of the operational activities in an organization, like the production, stock management, financial processes, human resource, etc. To run it smoothly, different matrices allow the operational managers to establish some basic clues of managing this level. For instance, there are directives set by the supervisors that are followed as per the ability of different teams that will perform things effectively. I don't want to talk much about this, but basically these are routines or work that is done in a routine way. I think that's a summary about the framework for MIS in an organization and the management. So basically that has given you a highlight about how systems interact with one another and the management. We have the next thing that we want to discuss is we have levels of the levels of management. Basically, we have divided the pyramid, which is a representation of the organization, and you can see on my left, it is we have the authority that moves from up to bottom, and then we have responsibility that moves from bottom to up. You can see at each level we have different types of people who work at each level. So we can start with the top management. The top management consists of the senior most executive and decision makers in an organization. Every member of the top management is responsible for the direction and the growth of the company. Basically, at the top level, the managers or the people at the top level defines the success and the future of the company. All the senior level they include maybe the founders of an organization, depending on the structure, the chief executive officers, the chief marketing officers, the chief sales officers, the chief technology officers, the president of the organization, the management, the managing director, the vice presidents, the chief operating officers. Those are some of the few designations that can fit at the top level managers. Take note that in ideal organization, these people at the top level are answerable to the shareholders of the organization. In case there's a loss, the top management will be asked why there's an issue. So top management is responsible for strategizing and planning and making plans for the business. They form the company's vision and mission, which help the employees and the customer to understand the fundamentals of every business. The design and the function and responsibility of the middle-level managers. They will assign each task and the goal for every employee to follow. So basically the top level management drafts the policy of the company, and they manage the finances and the resources, and they are solely responsible for the survival of the organization. The next level is the middle level management. The middle level management, they sit at the middle, and you can see them. So at the middle level, they consist of the head of various departments in an organization. These executives are responsible for communication between the top level management and the lower level of the management. They handle most execution and micromanagement within an organization. Some of the standard designation titles of the mid-level executive include the marketing manager, purchase heads, sales manager, operational manager, branch manager, finance manager. These are some of the designations that represent that. Their basic is set the function and responsibility to be handled at every department, and they communicate the policies and the mission set by the top level management, and they are responsible for handling all the communication and maintaining a healthy business environment in offices. Micro management, for the lower level management, they're responsible to coordinate between different teams. The middle-level managers handles things like recruitment and allocation of various duties to different teams. They hire the employees and manage the company resources to the optimum. Remember, here that's where you have mostly the KPIs, they say the key performance indicators, etc. So we move to maybe to the next one, the lower or the operative management, and at the lower level or the operational is responsible for managing, coordinating between the operative workforce and the middle level management. They micromanage specific, remember, underline the word specific, tasks to the operative workers and the management team. The operational level management has very few decision-making powers and generally execute orders from the middle-level managers. Some of the standard designation include maybe the foreman, the clerks, the junior managers, inspectors, and supervisors. And in a nutshell, you can just say, these are the people who work routinely or execute day-to-day activities at work. So we move to the next discussion, which is quite interesting, which is information system. It's abbreviated as IS, and most organizations in general capture data, and I love discussing about information and data before starting to discuss about information system. So the organization are continuously capturing data, many of which have no significance to them at all. However, data are available could be used better to understand an organization. Most company managers take decisions and prepare plans and control their company activities using information that has been processed from data. So it's good to understand we have data and information, and in a nutshell, to just talk about data, these are raw facts and figures that are not processed, while information on the other side, it's already processed information. So what's an information system? Information system comprised of hardware, software, telecommunication, databases, human resource, and procedures. Our system can be divided into subsystems because the company behaves as a system. It's different elements that can be broken down into subsystems according to the organizational theory. We can move on. The information is related to other systems and the environment that are involved. So our information system carry out a series of functions that may be classified as maybe data capture and collection, storage, information processing, and distribution. So we go straight to maybe before going to different types of information system. It's good to discuss slightly about the system components, which I've talked about. We have the hardware, which is a tangible bit of the computer. We have the software, which include the untouchable bit of the computer, and this include the programs. Whenever we talk about hardware, we're talking about the PCs, the peripheral devices. We have the human resource, which are the people working on that, we have the procedures, which can be said to be a procedure can be like ISO 9001 in 2015. That's an example of a very, very good system, and that helping procedures. And we have the resources. So what are the functions of an information system? We've just talked about data capture, storage, information processing, which is it's courtesy of maybe a CPU, which captures different information. So it goes straight to different categories of the information system. And I think I'll just take you back to the levels of management, and this is how we will help you understand more about different types of information. So we will start with understanding that different information system must be developed to meet the whole goal of an organization, and they can be divided based on their work. So as how we started with the levels of management, we are going to start with the workforce, because the workforce starts from down here the pyramid all the way up. So we have the first system, which is referred to as the transaction processing system. The transaction processing system. The transaction processing system, the cornerstone of the company's information system, and compile the daily business operations. Many companies cannot operate without this type of a system, as the operations are carried out in the company. TPS gather, process, and store data that reflect as the business transaction. These include things like sales, purchases, payment, etc. The transaction processing system, mostly abbreviated as TPS, are the most defined, or can be said as the most structured information system. When you talk about, I don't want to divert to start talking about the decision-making process, but this system are a bit structured, and they can give an example of a TPS is something like an ATM machine, an automated money dispatcher. It is detailed, straight to the point, programmed to work on a specific way, and the common characteristic of this TPS is that they are the backbone of all the data collected in an organization. We move on. I think all these activities, as Arya said, they create the cornerstone of the organization. So we go to the middle level. At the middle level of the organization, we have now the management information system. And at this level, we have two types of system. We have the decision support system, but at the middle level, the dominant information system is the management information system, or the MIS. I will explain why. So we go. This can be defined as the information system that provide information for users with similar needs. The main purpose of the management information system is to provide managers with information they need to take decisions and solve problems. MIS, as abbreviated, are supported by the corporate databases, which include data generated by the TPS, or the Transaction Processing System. Every organization has to take decision on many issues that arise on a regular basis, whether weekly, monthly, or quarterly, which certain information is required. A good example is maybe the credit score of a person based on a transaction done at the TPS level. At the management level, based on the data that comes in, the management can use that information from the database to define the credit worth of a client. I think I've tried to summarize in detail about management by prepare at this level. Sorry, I need to just clarify more about the MIS section. At this level, different section end are able to generate different reports that help the top level management to make some long-term decision. So we move on to still we are at the middle level, but before we get to the top level, we have the decision support system. Some books have discussed that the decision support system are at the top level, but they lie between the management level and the executive management level. Take note that not all companies' decisions are recurrent, and some have to be taken not frequently, or perhaps maybe once. Decision support system provide a tool to deal with less precisely structured or defined problems that arise once in a while. So a decision support system help managers who have to take non-structured decision. A decision is understood to be non-structured if there is no clear procedures in a place to take decision, and it is possible to identify beforehand all the factors that can be considered in a decision. Ideally, I love giving this example. At the management level, a frequent customer who is, maybe we just take a case of a banking system, we can have an abnormal or an outlier of a transaction where a customer who banks a specific amount of money, let's say like 1,000 shillings or $1,000, once in a while deposits $100 million, that will raise an issue with the management. So what will happen? This decision has to be made whether to freeze the amount and follow up why a specific client has a specific amount. Let's assume this client has won a jackpot and they have deposited the amount, and the news are all over the world. The manager will advise this client to maybe move from a regular account maybe to a gold level account. So it must be said that all information support decision making, even if not directly. So decision support have to be specifically developed to support the decision making process. This system facilitates dialogue with the user. He or she is considering alternative solution of a problem, and the system provides a database to access the models constructed to present information. So basically, this system can either be used by both the management at the middle level and also sometimes the managers at the top level. I think that's a bit clear. So we move maybe to the next one. So this is the discussion about the decision support system. I have summarized discussing about a decision is understood to be non-structured if there is no clear procedures in a place to take the decision, and it is not possible to identify beforehand all the factors that need to be considered. And the DSS are interactive and aim to expand the human reasoning capacity to resolve specific non-structured decision-making problems. We move to the next one, which is the executive information system. Some books refer to the executive support system. The DSS, before we feed, DSS mainly support the planning task, whereas the essential feature of the powerful EIS tool, which is there to support the control of the activities. And as earlier mentioned, the DSS feed the EIS with the data that is all summarized. All the information that is at TSS, they are simply a very filtered data, which is presented either in a graph format and is very straight to the point. So at this level, the information is fine-tuned, and the top level managers can make very straightforward decision which can affect the policies of the which can affect the policy and the long-term existence of the decision. Remember, one of the tasks about the executive is to make is to keep the organizing surviving. Remember, they are answerable to the shareholders of the organization. I think that has been clear about different types of information systems. So before I move on, it's good to discuss about the evolution of information system. And you can see most organizations start at this level of the TPS as they move up to the DSS level. So first to appear was the TPS, which replaced the manual procedures, mostly referred to as the paperwork. And basically the TPS, the main purpose was to automate, just to remove the paperwork, automating the payrolls, and maybe trying to eliminate the element of the human capture and removing the physical files. So the MIS came secondly, which helped in the saving and helping the tactical the mid-level managers to make decisions, and also to be in a position to arrange data in a specific format. And then later, after developing the MIS, which came the DSS, which was a bit comprehensive and helping in strategic information system and helping the decision making take place. We have lately we have the EIS, and at the EIS level we have the elements of AI and other factors that are helping the decision makers to be very precise and focused about the future. So the AIS, we have the element about forecasting of the future of the company, and also projecting about maybe the future profits, and also making decisions about different structures of policies within the organization. So with that, I think I want to thank you, and I want to wish you a good time. Thank you.